Long ago, in a quiet meadow where the sun kissed the earth and the wind carried songs of nature, lived two very different creatures. One was the ant, small but strong, always moving with purpose, always working. The other was the grasshopper, green and lively with wings that shimmered in the light and a voice that filled the fields with music. They were neighbors, yet they could not have been more different. It was summer, the season of abundance. The meadow was alive with tall grass, blooming flowers, and warm days that seemed endless. The ant and his colony worked tirelessly. They marched back and forth, carrying seeds, crumbs, and leaves into their nest underground. Each trip was small, but the ant never stopped. Step by step, load by load, he stored food for the months ahead. The grasshopper, however, thought life was too short to be spent on heavy lifting. He leapt through the grass, sang beneath the sun, and played his violin-like legs to anyone who would listen. "Why do you work so hard, little ant?" the grasshopper laughed, plucking at his wings like strings. "The days are warm, food is everywhere. Come, sing with me instead. Life is for joy, not for burdens." The ant paused, looking up at the tall, carefree creature. "I am preparing for winter," the ant replied. "The sun will not shine forever, and when the frost comes, we will need food to survive." The grasshopper only laughed louder. "Winter? That's far away. Let tomorrow worry for itself. Today is for music and dance." And off he hopped, leaving the ant to his labor. The summer stretched on, golden and warm. The grasshopper's days were filled with song. The ant's days were filled with work. Then came autumn. The leaves turned red. The air grew cooler, and the meadow began to change. The ant and his companions worked even harder, gathering the last of the harvest before it was gone. The grasshopper, he still played, though his audience of butterflies and bees was fewer now. The flowers had begun to wither, and the air no longer carried the sweetness of summer. "Ant," the grasshopper called one crisp evening, "surely now you can rest. Look at what you've already done. Come, join me before the days grow too short." But the ant shook his head. "I cannot stop now. The cold winds are coming." The grasshopper shrugged, unconcerned. He strummed his song into the fading light, while the ant carried the last seeds into his safe, warm nest. Then, as surely as night follows day, winter arrived. The meadow, once green and alive, fell silent beneath snow and ice. The flowers disappeared, the rivers froze, and the sun grew pale in the gray sky. The ants huddled inside their burrow, warm and safe. Their chambers were filled with food, enough to last until spring. They ate, they rested, they endured. The grasshopper, however, was not so lucky. The snow was deep, and the cold cut into his thin body. The fields that had once been full of food were empty now. No leaves, no seeds, no flowers. His music had fallen silent, for his strength was gone. Shivering and starving, the grasshopper stumbled through the frost until he found the ant's door. Weakly, he knocked. "Ant, please," he whispered. "I am hungry. I have no food, no shelter. I did not prepare for this. Will you help me?" Inside, the ants were warm and fed. The ant looked at the grasshopper, whose once joyful songs were now replaced with desperate cries. And here, the story changes depending on who tells it. Some say the ant shook his head. "No, grasshopper. All summer long I worked while you sang. Now, winter is here, and I must think of my family. You chose joy instead of preparation, and now you must pay the price." And the grasshopper, left in the cold, learned the hardest lesson of all. But others tell it differently. Some say the ant pitied the grasshopper, welcomed him inside, and shared what he could. And as they sat by the warmth of the fire, the grasshopper promised that when spring came again, he would never waste another summer. He would still sing, yes, but he would also prepare so that music and survival could live side by side. And so, the tale of the ant and the grasshopper remains a timeless fable. It reminds us that hard work and preparation are essential, for seasons of plenty do not last forever. But it also whispers another truth, that joy and art have their place in life, as long as they walk hand in hand with responsibility. So ask yourself, when the winter of your life comes, will you be ready? Or will you be left knocking at someone else's door?
And that was the story of the Ant and the Grasshopper, a tale that teaches us the value of preparation, but also reminds us of the balance between work and joy. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more timeless fables brought to life. Which version of the ending do you believe in? The one where the ant shuts the door, or the one where he shares? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and remember, every story carries a lesson for those willing to hear it.